Let me welcome all of you to this second night of this yajna. We are seeing one of Gurudev's name before we begin the Gita discourse every night. Last night we saw Gurudev's first name, which is called Aja. Aja means unborn. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, all of us have that name also. You know there are people with more than one persons with the same name, right? So all of us have that name. We are also Aja. Ajo nitya shashvato yam puranaha nahanyate hanyamane sharire. This jiva who is living inside his body, he is Aja. Aja means unborn. He is never born at any time. So that is one of Gurudev's name. And that is one of our name also. We just came from some other place. I told you most likely China, because these days everything coming from China. So we all came from some other place. We were there before. We were not born. Natve vaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipaha nachaiva navavishyamaha sarve vayamata param, he says in the second chapter. When we reach there, we'll see that we have always been there. Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, you have been there all the time. Not that you were born at this and this time. You just came from somewhere. You migrated. That is the idea. We migrated from somewhere. And the people who you know now, they were all strangers to you, you know. And just now they will all be strangers again. That's why you have to learn to love everybody, because you don't know who you'll meet. Isn't it? You have to learn to love all people in the world. Whenever you meet anybody else. Just now I get lost in the back here somewhere. I stop and talking to all them people like known family. One girl tell me, you are far from Santa Flora. And police officer tell me, well, you have to drive about 20 minutes. 5 minutes I reach. Yes. Now police officer also cannot average time. There are many people who cannot average time. Anyway, so we are seeing this one name. And one more name today. Yesterday we saw that Aja, we are unborn. All of us. And Gurudev's name is unborn. Today's name is Avyaya. Avyaya in Sanskrit. So when you, let me just give you an example which is different between Sanskrit and English. If your name is Tom, and you say salutation to Tom, in English what you say? Salutation to Tom. Finish, isn't it? But in Sanskrit, you can't just say Tom. You have to put that Tom in what is called a dative case. It is called its fourth case in the Sanskrit language, the dative case. So that will be, see, salutation means Namaha. So you say, to Tom, no, if you say, Tomaya Namaha. That is salutation. You have to put that in the fourth. You can't just say Tom Namaha. This is different between Sanskrit language and English language. So, Avyaya is his name. So, when you put Avyaya in fourth case, it becomes Avyayaya. Avyayaya Namaha. Like that. So, last time we said Aja is his name. Ajaya Namaha. You have to add that. Ya comes at the end there. Ya. So, Avyayaya Namaha. So, Gurudev's second name then is Avyayaya Namaha. Avyaya. And Avyayaya will be the fourth case of that Avyaya. Avyaya means what? It means he is unchanging, imperishable, never dying. Something that doesn't wane. Vyaya means to wane. You know, like a body. Oh, at one point it is nice and good and healthy and everything. And then slowly starts waning, isn't it? Until it ends up in Waterloo. The creek. Here is the creek. It starts waning. Everything in the world wanes. You see, this temple is built in 1960, where I was just telling there. The president. 1968. So, from 1968 to 2016 now, right? But the temple will get better or it will get worse. Means by itself, If you leave it, it will improve and improve and improve, or it will decline and decline and decline. Decline. The nature of the world is like that. Everything in the world naturally declines. You don't have to do anything. It's subjected to the laws of the world. Everything in the world is vyaya. Vyaya. So he's called avyaya. Avyaya means never decline. The body may decline. Unless it's jiva who is inside, he doesn't decline. He's always there. He doesn't die. Doesn't wane. He's always there. Avyaya. So it's unborn, and avyaya means imperishable, unchanging, never subjected to any of the vagaries of time, space, or causation, any such thing. Always there. That is his second name. Okay, tomorrow we'll see one more name. Now, for those of you who are listening on Heritage Radio, and for those of you who were not there last night, I have to do a little bit of summary. We saw the first verse of Bhagavad Gita. We'll chant it again, and we'll take a few minutes to summarize it, and we'll move on to from there. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharmakshetre kurukshetre samavetaayutsavah mamaka pandavashaiva kimakurvata sanjaya. Dhritarashtra, the blind king of the Kauravas, he's asking to Sanjaya, his minister. Sanjaya was his chief minister, or what you call prime minister. He said, I want to know what happened on the battlefield. This is 10 days after the battle had roared on for him. And Bhishma had fallen on the battlefield. So it was something disastrous for Dhritarashtra to hear. Because Bhishma was on their side, and Bhishma was the most powerful person known in that time. And if Bhishma fell, then that means something is going to happen really bad. If their own Bhishma fell. So he asked now to Sanjaya, tell me, what happened on that battlefield? What did my sons do, and what did the sons of Pandu do? I want to know that. And we saw very briefly the fact that Dhritarashtra, who was the oldest head in that Kaurava family, right? The fact that he put his sons first shows that he is selfish. He is only thinking about, or he thinks more about his son, his people, his group, his cohort, rather than thinking about everybody. He was supposed to be like a father figure. At the death of Pandu, his younger brother, he was supposed to be like a father figure even to Pandavas. But he said, Mamakaha, and this Mamakaha word is a very strong word in Sanskrit. This feeling of, Mam in Sanskrit means me, and Mamakaha means mine. Mine. You know how strong all of us have this feeling of mine, right? That indicates selfishness. So that is the word which is used there. We have strong feeling of mine. You know how? When you go home today, check to see if anybody wore your shoes. And if anybody wear your shoes, or your clothes, or your jewelry, or your watch, then you will know. Suppose you used to sleeping on a particular bed, and when you go home tonight, somebody else sleeping on the bed. Then you say, but that's my bed. That mamatwa is there, no? Feeling of mine. Or whatever, you're drinking your coffee in a particular cup every morning. So when somebody take your cup, your mug, they're in for some trouble, you know. We have such strong feeling of mine. And throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan talking that minus we have to give up. These two things we have very strongly, but I and mine is I am so great, I am wonderful, you should not disturb me because I am important. Everybody have also got thoughts about themselves, you know. And all of it is based on ego only. So about me and mine, aham and mama. These are the two words which he talks about. We'll see in second chapter also. So Dhritarashtra had a very strong dose of that. It's no wonder that this disease which all of us have is indicated in the very first verse of Bhagavad Gita, this selfish disease which we have. So last night we saw that our life is meant to be dedicated to humanity, because humanity and society and the world and the cosmos. The cosmos is giving everything to us. Cosmos is feeding us. So we owe our life to the cosmos. And that is the attitude which we should have. Not a selfish attitude, but a selfless attitude. This was the summary of last night. Now, Dhritarashtra wanted to know. He asked Sanjaya, what did my sons do? What did the sons of Pandu do? So now Sanjaya replies. Now we'll see this verse. This is verse number 2 of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Sanjaya uvacha Drishtva tu pandavanikam Vyuham duryodhanastada Acharyamupasangamya Rajavachanam abravit. Sanjaya is a good reporter also, and that is very important. When people ask some question and all, we have to report something, tell as it happened. We should tell exactly as it happened. But human beings, we like to dramatize. We become very dramatic in whatever we are telling and all. So, like, I will tell, this happens all the time, and I know because all the people has come and they complain to me only. See, that one person will tell that other person, go and sit there. You see, this is one tone, Go and sit there. That other person will come and report to me now. That fellow told me, go and sit there. You see the tone? That other fellow said, go and sit there. This one comes and tells me, go and sit there. Now, those two things have a world of difference. And that is bad reporting. There is one thing about reporting. Second thing is, people have a habit of only reporting half the truth. Especially the news media and all. They only pick and choose what they want to report. And in news, you don't ever hear any good news. You only hear only bad news. You know how many people, now I was traveling just now, coming from all over the United States and Canada and all. You know how many people told me they don't have any cable in their house and they don't put on any of these news channels. They're fed up. Because they're only reporting all bad thing. Here in Trinidad also, the moment you put on that news, how many people were killed, what is the murder rate, you only hear about that kind of thing. So many good things happening. Look at just now, the president of the temple telling how this temple offered in good gesture to all people in the community. So it's something good, right? That wouldn't spread. Such good things wouldn't spread, nobody will know. But any bad thing happened in this temple? No. Oh, if you only put out one man from here to there, he gonna call the TV and call everybody now. Isn't it? This same temple, given this temple free to so many people for so many years, and nobody will know. One man he put out there. See? Bad thing. That's what makes news. When you're reporting, Sanjaya is such a good reporter now. Now this is the first verse he speaks. Dhritarashtra asks what happened. He has to relate 10 days of activity that transpired. This is 10 day. So he has to tell from first day. And how good memory he has to have also, to tell all the things that happened. So now here is Sanjaya reporting. What he tells, he says, पश्यैतां पाण्डुपुत्राणाम् आचार्य महतीं च मूं व्यूढां द्रुपदपुत्रेण तव शिष्येन धीमता. He's telling Duryodhana went to Acharya who Dronacharya. Duryodhana went to Dronacharya. Dronacharya was the guru of both sides. He was the guru of Kaurava's side as well as guru of Pandava's side. So this Duryodhana Acharyam upasangamya, he went to Dronacharya. After what? After seeing Panduputranam Mahatim Chamu, seeing the vast army of Pandavas. Arjuna, now look one more thing here. Pandavas only had 7 Akshauhinis and Kauravas had 11 Akshauhinis. This was the ratio. 7 to 11. You know, in America they have some stores called 7-Eleven. This is where I got the ratio from, you know. Right here in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita itself. 7 to 11. This was the ratio. So there were 7 Akshauhinis on Pandava's side and 11 Akshauhinis on Kaurava's side. Now even though Duryodhana, who is the head on this side, he has many more soldiers and such a vast amount of carriage, what do you call that, chariots and elephants and horses and infantry and you know all that, cavalry people, right? Even though the ratio was this, 11 to 7. And one Akshauhini will be like 200,000 to 1.4 million people on the one side. And this side. So he now sees the other side. Duryodhana from this side, who has more, he's seeing the other side. But he's thinking, my God, what a vast army. That means somehow, deep down inside, he is already starting to be afraid of. Even though he is bigger, he is seeing there as, see, Mahatim Chamu. Pandavanikam, Panduputrana, Mahatim Chamu. A huge army. When he saw, he approached his guru, Dronacharya, and he told, Vyuram Drupada Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhivata. See, all these Pandavas, they have gathered on this side and they are led by Drupada Putra. And he says he is Shishya, Tava Shishya. He is your disciple. You know, this Duryodhana is a wicked fellow. You could see wickedness through all his words also. In other words, he is telling this Dronacharya, who is the guru, they are led by one of your Shishya. Trying to make him feel guilty. That the enemy side, the other side is being led by one of your. We love this sort of thing. Don't think that the bhava, the feeling which is there in the heart of Duryodhana is absent in our heart. You know what we like very much, I'll tell you, which is very similar to this or same. When somebody does something which you told them not to do, you will get in trouble. And when they do it and they get in trouble, what we like to say? I tell you so. I tell you. We like that. In other words, we like to let the other person know, I already know from before. That kind of bhav is there in human beings. And let me tell you how many things in that statement we have not thought about it. I tell you so. You didn't listen to me. That means I smarter than you. That means you stupid. All that day behind it. Duryodhana is using that same sort of bhav now with his guru, Dronacharya. He is, that person who is leading the other side, he is your disciple. It means you made a mistake by teaching that person. This Duryodhana is also a disciple, but he has become better than the guru now. In other words, he could, Mana is the that term, you know. Mana is the guru. In other words, he's trying to tell the guru what you did by teaching that Drupada Putra, you did wrong thing. So you made a mistake. As though Duryodhana himself doesn't make mistakes. That is an amazing thing. Oh, he continues. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, 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 Paschaitam Anuputranam Acharya Maharinjamu, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Yonam Prapadraputrena Tavashishi Mada, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhimarjuna Samayuti, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Udano Viratasya Drupadasya Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, 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 Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. I scrolled down a little bit too much. Sanjaya Uvacha Drishva tu Pandavanikam Vyuram Duryodhanastada. Duryodhanaha, seeing this army now, approached the Guru and said what I told you this. Acharya Upasangami Raja Vachanam Abhavi, he told. Then, seeing what that vast army there, and now what he started, the moment he looked there and he saw Pandavas, big army and all, and that little fear came in his heart. It's a natural response in a human heart. He looked back on his side now. And he said, yeah, okay, they have many great warriors on that side, but we also have great warriors on our side, He did that. But first he started recounting the great warriors on the Pandava side. See this. Atrashura Maheshvasaha Bhimarjuna Samayuti Yudano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharatha Drishtaketushike. These are all names of people now. He is recounting names of people on that side. So the names are not so important to us. What is important is what is going on in his heart. That he is looking on the other side and he's seeing all these great big warriors on that side and he is thinking, oh, And that now makes him turn to his side. See, Drishtaketuhu, Chekitanaha, Kashi Rajascha Viryavan, the Raja of Kashi, all these people who were there on Pandava's side, Raja of Kashi, Purjit Kunti Bhojascha, Chaivyascha Narapungavaha, great men were on that side. So, having looked at all of them, Yuramanjuscha Vikranta, Uttamaujascha Viryavan, So Bhadro, Draupadeyascha, Sarva Eva Maharathaha, all of them were called as Maharathaha. Maharatha means, in English how you have, I don't know now what they have stripes. No, I'll tell you in police. First you have a fellow with no stripe, he's a constable. Right? Then you have a fellow with 2 stripes. It has no 1 stripe, 2 stripes, he's a corporal. Then you have a man with 3 stripes. He's a sergeant. That's how it goes. Then after sergeant, he has no 4 stripe. He changed the color of uniform into khaki. He's an inspector. And then you have a man with all stripes. He's a zebra. No, so you have ranks there, right? So here also in those days there was, like, I'll tell you the ranks now. One is called a Rathi. The other is called as Atirathi. The other is called as Maharathi. And that last one is called Ati Maharathi. Don't try to say that. It means one of them who could just, Rathi means he could just control the infantry, the fellow who in front, just walking, foot soldier, right? He can even ride a chariot. But the one who could ride the chariot, he called as Rathi. He could command, do some. Also, they have numbers. He could also command a Rathi who ride in the chariot. He could command like about 10,000 people. And Atirathi will go up to like 60,000. They have numbers also. Those numbers I don't know because I was never an army person. So, and then Maharathi could control like 100,000 people. He has 100,000 people under him. And one man was asking another one, where do you work? He said, what? I have an important job. Where I work, I have 500 people under me. That fellow said, really? Where do you work? In the cemetery. He has 500 people under him. But Maharathi could control 100,000 people like that. So Duryodhana is looking on that side and he thinks, oh, Sarva Eva Maharathaha, so many Maharathas are there on the other side. Then he tells now, this is in number 7. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Asmakam tu Vishishtaye, Tarotra Vidotama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Nayaka Mama Sainyasya Sainyatam Taravimite, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, 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 Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Asmakam tu Vishishtaye tan Nibodha Dvijottama. Oh Dvijottama Duryodhana, Dronacharya, oh great Guru is. Now Duryodhana, he also realizes that just now I perhaps slighted the Guru, I just now tried to manas the Guru a little bit there. I shouldn't have do that. So now he take it back in, because when he starts recounting, he said, oh great Dvijottama, most greatest among the twice born, Tvijuttama. That is the meaning. On our side also, Asmakam tu Vishishta, we also have great soldiers on our side, Now, why are you doing that? He's doing because somehow he feels some sort of fear from the other side. They have great warriors on that side, But in order to now boost his morale, his own morale. But I have one good thing about Duryodhana. To boost, he didn't wait on anybody else to boost his morale. He has some good spirit. All of them, if you look at Kansa, if you look at Ravana, if you look at now Duryodhana, they will have so many great qualities also. He doesn't need anybody else to boost his own spirit. Otherwise, we always need some shoulder to lean on, Tell me something now. Something sweet and soft. That other fellow said, Jub Jub. You always want somebody to tell you something? Right, you have to learn to be strong and to be independent. You don't need to always some shoulder to lean on. You should be strong so somebody could lean on your shoulders. So he now, Asmakam tu Vishishtaye Tani Bodha. Now I recount, or I tell who is on our side. Nayakam Mama Sainyasya Sanyartham Tan Pravinite. I tell you now. And my army, and see, Mama Sainya. He has a very, also just like his father, Dhritarashtra, again the word. But there, Mamakaha and Mama, same word, same meaning, 2 words. Mine. Here, Mama. 2 words in Sanskrit. In English also we have 2 words. 1 word only. Mine. In English only 1 word. In Sanskrit many words are there. So, Nayaka Mama Sainyasya Sanyartham Tan Pravinite. Now I go to recount on my side. On my army, who is there? Bhavan. Bhavan means you. But it's a very respectful you. Bhavan is the most respectful you in Sanskrit. English language only you is there. In Hindi, 3 yous are there. In Hindi, if you are telling a child, you say 2. If you are telling your own equal, you say tum. And if you are telling somebody respectfully, some guru or somebody, we say aap. Hindi language. Tu, tum, aap. Degrees of respect. In Sanskrit, there's you, tvam, and there's bhavan. Bhavan is most respectful. Means, thou, the great, like that. Bhavan in English, how you will tell also, you can't tell. Thou, the great Dronacharya, he said, you are on our side. First, when in recounting all the great people on our side, first he puts that's why I'm telling you just now, he's a little apologetic. For slighting the Guru just now. So now quickly, Bhavan means you. Then Bhishmascha, Bhishma, the great Bhishma. You see, even though Bhishma was the most powerful person there, was known to be the most powerful. Gangaputra, Bhishma. So he puts Bhishma second to show the respect to the Guru. Then Karna, he was one of the Pandavas, but they didn't know that he was one of the Pandavas. Was born to the same Kunti and was put on that river in that basket and went down the road and grew up in some other home. You remember that? That is Karna. He was one of the Pandavas also, but now on the other side, on Kaurava's side. Then Kripascha, Samitinjayaha, who are all, what do you call? Invincible, all of them. Ashwathama, Vikaranaha, Saumadatti, Saumadatta. All these are names he's counting on his side. Anyecha bhavashuraha mat arte tyakta jivitaha. And he boasted, really. So, and there are so many other great warriors on this side who have all laid down their lives for me. Again he goes, me. All the warriors on my side, they are all laying down their lives for me. See? Who Duryodhana cares about? Me. That means the Guru, Bhishma, Karna, all of them laying down their lives for? He's good at boosting himself, eh? Well, we could boost ourselves and get too much, you know. Mad arthe tyakta jivitaha. They all laid down their lives for me. Nana shastra praharanaha sarve yuddha visharadaha. All of them skilled in the art of warfare and wielding various weapons on our side. Like this now, he is really boosting up himself nicely, and because you can see that somehow he feels. You know, I'll tell you one more thing. Why would he have felt this sort of apprehension and this little bit of fear in his heart, even though really he had the Guru of Arjuna? Arjuna was the most skilled person on that side, right? He had the Guru of Arjuna on this side. He had Bhishma on this side. Still, he feels some sort of fear on the other side. Because deep down, I tell you, no matter how much you may be a worldling, a worldly being, a materialistic being, and even all the way up to an atheist, deep down, every human being has some sort of natural fear for some higher power in this universe. We know that there is something bigger and greater than us in this universe. You may not accept God, you may not become an atheist, you may not believe in all of these things, but somehow everybody, and that's why, you see, even an atheist has so much of fear. You know, when an atheist came here to give a speech in front of a big audience, you know, when people go in front of an audience, they become nervous. Huh? So, he had to give a speech, and he's an atheist, eh? And he came there, and of course he's nervous, and everybody nervous. Eh? You wouldn't believe how nervous I used to be when I was many times I used to get, what I came here to say? Like the total everything gone out of the head. Of course there was nothing before also, but so anyway, he came in to give a speech. Then he saw this big audience, and he just, but then somehow he managed, and he gave that speech and all. And then when he went backstage, somebody asked, "How did it go?" He said, "By the grace of God, it went well." He's an atheist, he doesn't believe in God. So I'm telling, a person may claim that I don't believe in God and this and that and all this kind of thing, right? But everybody has some sort of natural fear or respect or regard for some higher force, principle, something in this universe. So though Duryodhana knew that on his side he had such great, valiant, invincible warriors on his side, on that side Bhagavan Shri Krishna was there. The Lord of the universe was there. And that cannot go unnoticed, you know. The fact that on that side Bhagavan was there would have also weighed down on Duryodhana's mind. And that also, I'm talking in the mind of a person who doesn't have faith also. Eh? He doesn't have faith. A person who doesn't have faith has fear. Both of them begin with F only. Who is lacking in faith will only have fear. So he lacked faith, and that was replaced by fear. And there is this fear in him. And on that side he's seeing the Lord also. Krishna is there. And he may not have faith in Krishna, but if you don't have faith in the Lord, that is the other substitute for that which quickly fills the vacuum of faith is fear. So he recounts on his side to try to boost himself up now. And listen to his words now. This is number 10. Apariyaptam tadasmakam
अपर्याप्तं तदस्माकं
बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितं पर्याप्तं त्विदमेतेषां बलं भीमाभिरक्षितं He says, aparyaptam tadasmakam. Chamum actually is understood there. Means our army, after Duryodhana looking on this side and looking on this side, he says, asmakam, ours, means our army, is aparyaptam. Aparyaptam means invincible, unconquerable. They cannot, that those Pandavas could never surround us and never conquer us. That is the meaning of aparyaptam. The literal meaning will be unsurroundable, but there's no word like that in English, no. They don't have enough people, like recently I was hearing somebody saying, like, suppose the American army attacked the Trinidad army. By the time them fellas wake up. But yeah. They will all die in their sleep itself, isn't it? Before they wake up, before they know what happened, they won't have time to know what happened. That is a peculiar thing. One man died in his sleep and he didn't find out till the next morning. But it means to say, when the Trinidad army looks at the American army, that American army will be aparyaptam. Even if they hold hands together like this, right, and try to stretch around that army, they can't reach. Aparyaptam. Tat asmakam. Balam Bhishma abhirakshitam. And more so, because our army is protected by Bhishma. Bhishma abhirakshitam. Abhirakshitam means well protected by Bhishma. So he has good faith in Bhishma. And there is one more thing, see. Duryodhana had a choice in the beginning. The choice was given to him before Arjuna. To choose Bhagavan Shri Krishna's army or to choose Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself. Duryodhana chose the army and he left Krishna. So he doesn't have faith in Krishna. He has faith in Bhishma. Our army is protected by Bhishma. So he has faith in this Bhishma. And see the Bhishma, who also could make a mortal mistake. He found himself on the Kaurava side. A mortal mistake or not? And he had faith in this Bhishma. See, our army is protected by Bhishma. Amazing thing. And listen to his now estimation of the Pandava side. Paryaptam tu idam etesham. The army of there is paryaptam. It can be easily surrounded, conquered. Paryaptam. Aparyaptam and paryaptam, they are opposites. Ours is aparyaptam. Theirs is paryaptam. We can, the way this word is presented there, paryaptam, we can flatten all of them and make a parking lot over there. Like that. Balam, and because they are protected by Bhima. Bhim, one of the Pandavas, he was a very big, tough fellow, Bhima. So their army is protected by Bhima. That is paryaptam, nothing like that. So, on the one hand, when he sees there, that fear gets in his heart, and then he recounts his own forces on the side to boost himself. When he boosts himself now he downplays the importance and power of underestimates the power of the other side. So, one more thing about life. Please pay attention to this. I want people to pay attention to this very much, because we have a habit of doing this. Either we downplay something, or we overestimate something. Like we overestimate our own prowess and our own power and all that kind of thing, and our own importance many times, and we downplay that of others. That can reverse also. Sometimes a person has inferiority complex. He downplays his own. That can go either way, I'm saying. Right? Life is not about downplaying anybody's importance or power or anything, or about overestimating also. Life is about trying to make the best judgment possible. A very unbiased and level-headed judgment. Somebody sent me a text today. I don't know who it is. I don't know that name. But whoever it is listening, if they are listening. What was it? Advice. What was the advice? Swamiji, spend a few minutes on the radio trying to encourage your audience to be positive thinkers. Think positive thoughts, right? But I tell you what the teaching is in our Shastra. I did not come here to teach you to have positive thoughts nor negative thoughts. I came here to teach you to have real thoughts. If a tiger is approaching, it is time for you to run, isn't it? You can't stand there and say, well, let me have positive thought. Maybe this is the tiger on which Mata Durga rides. Maybe this tiger will spare me because I am a Durga devotee. That is positive thought, isn't it? So there is no such thing in Vedanta. Positive thought or negative thought. We are teaching to teach the real thought in the given moment. When you see another person, your thought should not be positive or negative. You just accept the person for what they are. This is what we are teaching. Otherwise, what happens, right? In the Western world, what is taught? No, you must have positive thoughts all the time. Positive thoughts. And the same people who keep on saying this, you must have positive thoughts all the time. Those are the same people who go on having all negative thoughts only. You know why? Because you are participating in the duality of the universe. The universe is made up of the pairs of opposites, positive and negative. Can you ever have any atom with only positive charge? Is there any atom in this universe with only positive charge? It means if you take in the atom, you have to take positive and also take negative. You can't escape. You have to take both. You have no choice in the matter. So if you go on participating in all the, only trying to inculcate in your mind positive thought, you are actually going against the grain of the universe. The universe will send positive thoughts in your mind and will send negative thoughts in your mind. Why? You are afraid of dealing with negative thoughts or what? That shows weaknesses there. Let the negative thoughts come. When they come, you deal with them. And they will come whether you like or. But that is the nature of the world. When they come, you deal with them. It means to say, you make, based on whatever negative things you encounter, you make a very real decision. So when a tiger approaches, you cannot say, well, this is a positive situation, you know. It is negative. You better start planning how to run, yes. You're telling me it's a positive situation. What positive or what? If you didn't think it was negative, then you wouldn't run. Then you'll be tiger's meal. Two fellas encounter a tiger. One said, oh God, boy, no we did. You think we could outrun this tiger? Here the other one. I don't have to outrun the tiger, I only have to outrun you. When I outrun you, the tiger will catch. But really, that time you think real. We talk about thinking real. The world is made up of positive things. It is made up of negative things. And one more thing I'll tell you in that. Because this is what is going on in Duryodhana's mind here now. He is trying to be positive, right? And the reason why a person has to try to be this, is because there is fear. There is fear in his heart. So he has to try to be positive. Fear, because there is no faith. There was no faith in Bhagwan, so the vacuum got filled with fear. So now, when we encounter life, just accept that life will bring positive as well as negative things. You develop the strength and the ability to maneuver your way between them very well and continue on your journey. Not that, no, I should only think positive things. I should only think, it's not possible. Think real. This is the way the world is, and I'm going to deal with it in this way. Don't go there. You see, it will be foolhardy. Actually, it's very foolhardy. When you go, suppose I'm a new student, I'm going to some school for the first time, right? And I'm going, and I say, go there with a positive mind. All the people in that place, they will be nice to me. That's stupidness. That's stupidness or not? Or you go with some kind of crazy thought in your head. In that place, some people will be nice to me and some will not be nice to me. That's more real or not? Think now. I'm going to some new place, some will be nice to me, some will not be nice to me. That's the nature of the world. No. Think positive. I go in there, everybody could be nice to me. Wrong thing. Just accept the world as it is. And when the person is not nice to me, I know that is there in the world. Some people are not nice. Then what? Others are nice. Okay. Both are there. Think real. So Duryodhana says now his mind is gone. He's trying to think positively. Now what happens? We'll see tomorrow.